Let's check out two beautiful riffs from Michelle. First, the intro. And then we have that great guitar solo. Now for the intro to Michelle, your fretting hand gets a nice little workout. We're going to start off with your index, middle, and ring, each getting their own string. First string, second string, third string. Makes a nice diagonal line. See that? Nice diagonal line. Now your first finger is going to stay right where it is. Your other two fingers are going to make a little switch. Now that grip right there, it might remind you a little bit of an A minor chord. Okay? It's not an A minor chord, but you want to use something as a reference point. So I use an A minor grip as my reference point right there because it reminds me of A minor. So far, index finger stays. Now my third finger, my ring finger, is going to stay second string, 9th fret. And guess what this reminds me of? A D chord. Again, it's not a D chord, but that's my reference point. My first finger is going to slide back just a tiny bit. Now it's on the third string, 7th fret. Now the whole thing is about to change now. My index is going to do a little bar at 6. And with either your 4th finger, pinky, or your 3rd finger, ring finger, either way, you're going to be at the 1st string, 8th fret. I'm going to use my 4th finger for right now. That's why you need that bar in place. Definitely 4th finger for 9 on the 2nd string. Okay? And now a quick little slide, an index finger bar, little partial bar from 7 sliding up to 8. See that? Index finger, the 2 skinny strings, 7 to 8. And I'm using the pad of my index finger. I'm not using the tip, I'm using the pad. Now I'm going to hold down what feels like an F bar chord. You do not have to do this. I do need my 3rd finger on 10 on the D string, on the 4th string. So for me it's easy to think of this as a complete chord grip. So I'm thinking of an F chord formation here. Again, I'll say it, the 2nd finger here is extraneous. You do not need to have that finger down. So if you're not comfortable doing this grip, that's okay. You can go like this. Here's my slide. Just reach over with your ring finger and play like that. Nothing wrong with that. And I guess you could use your 4th finger if you like that better. Because the F formation is so important to so much guitar playing, to me, it just makes sense to grab that chord, even though I admit the 2nd finger doesn't have to be down. Okay, so let's walk our way through the whole introduction here nice and slowly. There we go, beautiful. Now, as we tackle the solo from Michelle, it's important to understand what's meant by playing in a certain position. The solo starts off with your fretting hand in 7th position. That means your index finger's hovering over the 7th fret. Middle finger's ready for the 8th fret, ring for 9, and your 4th finger, your pinky, is hovering right around the 10th fret. 7, 8, 9, 10. Every fret has a finger dedicated to it. Later in the solo, we'll move down to 5th position. Index at 5. Middle at 6, ring at 7, pinky at 8, okay? So all those numbers, all those frets will have a finger ready to go. Very important, okay? You don't want to let your fingers get tangled up on this solo. If you stay in a position for as long as you can and then move to the next position and then finally move back again, just the way I'm going to teach you, you won't get that feeling of rushing around with your hand and your arm, your elbow and your wrist rushing around so much. Okay, here we go. First phrase, we're in 7th position. The first note is on the 8th fret. So of course I'm going to use my 2nd finger for that note. Here it comes. Easy, right? Next phrase, 8, 10, 6. Now you might say, wait a minute, 6, where'd that come from? Well, sometimes you have to move out of position just for a second. So I'm in 7th position. My index finger has to shift over to get the 6th fret. And then the other number 6 there on the 4th string. Sometimes you just have to shift a little bit. Is that officially going into 6th position? I guess you could say that. We're about to go to 5th position in a second, but temporarily you could argue that we're in 6th position. Okay, here's the solo from the beginning so far. Okay, ready to go on? Here we are in 5th position now for the next phrase. Get your index finger hovering over the 5th fret there. Here it comes. See how every finger, every fret has a finger dedicated to it? Again, from the beginning of the second phrase. 5, 5, 6, 8, 6, 8, 8, 5, 6, 5. Finally, here comes a 7. We're still in 5th position now, right? There should be no doubt in your mind which finger should play that 7. It takes a little bit of discipline, but it's worth it. Okay, moving on with the next phrase. 5, 6, 8, 7. We're still in 5th position here. And now is the time for the final phrase to shift back to 7th position. Okay, for this final closing phrase. And there's that beautiful melodic number 6 at the very end there. Here comes again that last phrase. Okay, so let's take it from the beginning nice and slowly. The whole solo all the way through nice and slowly. 2, 3, 4. And the final phrase. Now you can do this solo. It's a beautiful solo, so there's your inspiration right there. Remember about shifting from 7th position to 5th position. Keep the fingering exactly the way I did it. It's the most efficient way to do it. And especially if your ring and pinky don't feel very confident, this is exactly how they're going to get confident, by using them under pressure like this in this solo. All right, stick with it, take it slowly, and you're going to sound great.